Hello there. Um, I am just taking a minute here to make a little video about the art book that I had put together late last year. It's a retrospective of my work on Transformers for IDW Publishing. Most of the folks interested in this book will know, but for those of you who don't, IDW has had the Transformers license since, I believe, 2005, and their rights to the license ended at the end of 2022. So I didn't start working for them until 2008, and once the end of the IDW Transformers came along, like many of the other creators, I got a bit, nostalgic about the time I had spent working on it. And so I wanted to put together a little book that had some, close-up looks of some inks, some behind-the-scenes stuff, character sketches, things of that nature from the beginning of my time with IDW Transformers until the end. So obviously couldn't include everything I did in this book, but this is some of my favorite material from my little run with IDW Transformers. So I just want to take a quick flip through it here, so anybody who's interested in it can see what they're looking at. So the cover features my very first piece done for Transformers, which was the All Hail Megatron Killing Joke homage, tribute obviously to the great Brian Boland piece from the Batman universe comic, The Killing Joke. This was the very first thing I did for IDW, and so it seemed fitting for the front cover. And I'll flip right to the back just to show this was the very last piece that I did, which was the Shattered Glass Soundwave exclusive cover for the Hasbro Pulse toy. So front to back, you have the very beginning and the very end, and you have the colored piece in the middle fading into the pencils, which here is digital, and the inks over on this side. Same with the front. You can see the pencils, the inks, and the color in the middle. We'll get a little closer to it so you can get a better look at it. So I'm going to take a flip through. I'm not going to pause a long time on every page, but I figured I'd just kind of give a peek at what you're looking at inside here. So starting at the very beginning, some may remember the Transformers Mosaic project. I have a little write-up covering my time on Mosaics, and a little look at some of the Mosaic work that I did. Also the tie-in called War Journal by John Paul Beauvais, and a little bit about the cover art contest that I entered, which is what got my work in front of Chris Ryall, editor-in-chief of IDW at the time. I'll give a little closer peek at some of this. It was a contest on the IDW forums, 3 rounds of cover entries. First round, second round, and third round was a wraparound cover, that was a lot of work. That was the largest piece that I did at the time, and those who remember, I wound up somehow winning that contest, and that got my work in front of Chris Ryall, who shortly after offered me my first job with them, which was the Killing Joke homage. I've got a bit of a write-up here on it, very personal story with involving that cover that I won't get into here, but if you wind up with a copy of this book, I would love if you would read some of that, and also has a link to something that my sister wrote around that time. The first comic I ever did was Spotlight Blur, first full comic. after that Killing Joke cover. So you can see some of my cover process. And this is a bit of a, an idea of what you're going to get throughout the book. I've got 3 different sketches, the one that was chosen. Give you a look at the inks and a look at the colors. Note by Joanna LaFuente, and the text designed by Trevor Hutchison. I got to redesign some characters for the book, so you can sort of see some of my designs. Again, beautifully colored by Joanna. And then just I went through the book and clipped some of my favorite panels. So you can sort of take a look at some of that art up close. I have the cover here for Spotlight Cliff Jumper. Along the left here are concept sketches. We roll into Drift, which I show you my cover sketches here. Also the main cover and the colored version. And some character designs on the next page. And then same as Blur, I've got some cuts of some of my favorite artwork from the issue. I'll give you a close look at some of that. I always liked this panel of Drift with the swords. Sorry, my lighting situation here isn't terrific, but I think you get the idea. And we go through some All Hail Megatron covers, some process sketches, close up on the inks, peek at the colors, more All Hail Megatron covers. This particular one had quite a few concepts to it. And a nice close-up of Joanna's beautiful painted work on this Optimus cover with some of the other inks of All Hail Megatron covers in there. Just to give you a quick idea of the size of this, this is a regular comic book right here. So this is bigger and wider, taller, wider than a comic, 8.5 by 11 scale. We'll keep flipping through. We have the All Hail Megatron Perceptor material. Close-up look at some of that artwork. Heart of Darkness. I had a few covers on that miniseries. So here's a little look at a couple of the covers and a close-up of the inks from the first one. This was a fun thing that JP and I did for New York Comic Con one year. It was an exclusive cover for Apocalypse Comics. And it was a little X-Men homage. That was a lot of fun. They didn't end up including the little tearaway looking logo, which I thought was pretty fun, but Hasbro had other ideas. And we roll into the Ironhide miniseries. You see some of the artwork for the first cover, some concept sketches for Ironhide himself. We had a few other characters guest starring: Groove, Windcharger, Scamper, Outback, Alpha Trion, Ramjet, Dragstrip, and then again some crops of some pages here. Somebody had asked online if it was black and white or full color, the sketchbook, and as you can see, it's a bit of a mix of both. Some of these pages just show off the black and white inks, which you don't get to see up close in the actual comics or trades. I was always pretty happy with the cracking of the knuckles here. Wanted to make sure I got that one in there. Some of these are personal favorites. Some of them are popular selections. And a lot of times those are one and the same. Pax Cybertronia, the final issue of the original Transformers ongoing. Got a look at some of that. Robots in Disguise. You get a look at some of the covers in there. A nice close look at the line art for some of my favorite covers. I had, I want to say, 58 covers on that run, so obviously I couldn't get them all in here. Again, personal preference here. Turmoil was a villain that I got to create, so he appeared on a cover. I felt like I had to include him, or I wanted to include that cover in this collection. Nice look at some of the more popular covers. The Shadow Play storyline there. This was actually from RID, not More Than Meets the Eye, but it ties into that storyline. Soundwave and his children here. Thundercracker and Buster. Nice collection of other covers. Got the Barbarian Galvatron issue, which I think was number 30 from Robots in Disguise. You get the concept sketch for the guy he was fighting, and some nice close-ups of the inks from some of that battle scene. Transformers number 50. Bit of the cover, and one of the few issues that I penciled and did not ink myself, so you get a bit of a look at my pencils, which is kind of a rare thing to see. More Robots in Disguise covers. Here's the actual Shadow Play issue. I had a cover there with Prowl and Chrome Dome. Got the infamous Megatron as an Autobot cover that caught some folks by surprise when it came out. Windblade's debut issue, and some other Windblade covers. Dark Cybertron, which was that was some fun stuff. I got a couple covers there. I had, what was it? It was a 12-issue run, right? So you can see here I had to pick 1, 2, 3 favorites out of that. Combiner Wars and Combiner Hunters. Optimus Prime, which was one of my favorite runs. I was happy with the issue 1 cover there. Optimus Prime number 8, I did the interiors featuring Jazz. So I got a few crops of some of the splash pages there. Other Optimus Prime covers cropped in there, the black and whites. The Falling, which was a series of 6 covers, where I show you the inks and the concept sketches for all those. Sketches there were obviously digital, dropping in the colors of the individual bots that were to be featured with the sort of collage style inside the silhouette. In this book, I left just the black and white here, so you can get a really nice look at the detailed inks on each one of those. Lost Light number 20. I think it was 20, right? Big showdown between Rodimus and Getaway, and Cyclonus and Starsaber. Got one of the most satisfying punches in Transformers comics there. Climactic moment. Sorry, folks, if you haven't read this yet. Maybe some spoilers there. Don't look too close. I got a couple of homage covers here. The Beatles, Sgt. Pepper's cover. You get a good look at the line art to that. I don't remember how many characters are in this. Maybe around 40-ish, give or take. You get a little shot of the actual album cover, and then the colors to the More Than Meets the Eye cover there. Same with the David Bowie homage for Robots in Disguise, featuring RC. A little snippet of my Regeneration 1 work there. I got to draw that awesome blocky Power Master Optimus Prime that I remember so fondly from my childhood. A little peek at the holiday special cover. One of the 30th anniversary covers with the Megatron and Ratchet monster. One of the Unicron covers. Transformers Unicron from the end of IDW 1. Then, of course, in 2019, there was the reboot, which I got to do a cover for the first issue. I was quite happy with this one. Also, I believe this was issue 8. The Megatron using the body from the Siege toy, which I thought was pretty awesome. It was a lot of fun to draw that. You have a little fan service here, Starscream and Megatron. Can't remember the issue number of that cover, but that was a fun one. You kind of had the hip-hop album cover style with this little bunch of Decepticons, Rumble and Frenzy. I really enjoyed their little poses there where they were trying to look hard. The Galaxies cover for the Constructicons, that was a lot of fun to do. A lot of work, but a lot of fun. You can see some concept sketches here and a little hint of Josh's lovely colors there. Transformers 84, which was the retro style, Simon and Guido and JP, continuation or prequel, actually, of the original Marvel run. I really loved drawing in that style, with the little shinies and whatnot, trying to really bring back that sort of retro look. Getting to draw Straxus, which was a lot of fun. If you were old like me and remember the Marvel Comics, Straxus was, or actually especially in the UK, you know more of him than I do, even from his appearances in the UK comic. Straxus was one of the original comic villains that never got a toy until, I think until BotCon did it, one of the years. Anyway, I really loved these covers. I was really proud of them, so I wanted to give a nice close-up look of those. I got to do a Beast Wars cover, which was a lot of fun. The Wreckers reboot for IDW 2, which was a fun collection of characters featuring one of my favorites, Ricochet. And you get a look at some of the concept sketches for that. And then you roll into Shattered Glass, which I just gave a little peek at all of the Shattered Glass covers. A nice big fat close-up of Megatron there, which was probably my favorite from the first collection of Shattered Glass covers. For those who don't recognize it, this is the Optimus pose from Transformers the movie, where he leaps into the air, starts blasting the Decepticons in Autobot City. I want to do a little tribute to that pose using Megatron, heroic Megatron in this instance. And then you get the second Shattered Glass series, which gives you a nice close-up of Ultra Magnus, which anybody who owns this toy knows that it is packed with detail. So it was a lot of work that went into this cover, so I wanted to give a nice close-up look to that. And then, as I showed here, the back cover featuring the lovely Joanna Lafuente colors in the middle. Also a look at the inks and the pencils, sort of a fade one into the other. And that's it. That's a look at the book right there. A lot of the, I credit the colorists that are involved here. I'll just say right here, this is Josh Perez, that never gets enough credit for his work on this cover. But yeah, that's a peek through the book there. For those of you who picked it up at a convention or online, I hope you enjoy it. And for those of you who are thinking about it, I hope you liked what you saw here, and check my Twitter and Instagram. There's some pre-orders up for a short time for an online sale, and after that they will be available at convention appearances until I am out of stock. So hope you enjoyed this look through the book, and thanks for checking it out. Now I got to figure out how to end the stream. Here we go. Boom. Goodbye, everyone.